I heard about the record deal. It's really something, Cassie.
Thank you. We don't have much time, do we?
It looks like Netflix might actually be giving fans more of Purple Hearts, and honestly, that's not even a bad move. The 2022 romance drama turned into one of the streamer's most talked about releases, so the idea of a sequel feels less far-fetched than it first sounds. Since word started spreading that Netflix could be expanding the story, people have been wondering what direction it could go in, especially because the ending of the first movie left the door cracked open for more. So let's dive into everything we know so far, along with what that finale could really mean if a follow-up does happen. Sofia Carson, who starred in the movie and also served as an executive producer, has been busy promoting her new Netflix project Carry On, which she headlines alongside Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman. While doing press for that movie, she was asked about Purple Hearts and whether a sequel was truly on the table. Her answer didn't confirm anything concrete, but she didn't shut the door either. For fans, that small update is enough to keep the conversation alive because it shows that the idea is at least being considered. Carson has definitely become one of Netflix's key stars over the past couple of years. After her breakthrough with Disney's Descendants movies, she transitioned smoothly into a mix of acting, singing, and producing. With Purple Hearts, she hit a new level of visibility because the movie not only performed well, but also went viral on social media. Since then, she's been stacking up interesting projects. The Life List, based on the popular book by Laurie Nelson Spielman, My Oxford Year, adapted from Julia Whelan's novel, and a non-Netflix film titled Last Night at the Lobster. Even with her plate already full, it's clear Purple Hearts isn't just another credit for her, it's a story and a role she feels strongly about, which makes the possibility of a sequel even more intriguing. When Variety asked her directly about the subject, she admitted that conversations had indeed happened. She didn't spill details but explained how protective she feels toward her character Cassie and the story as a whole. To her, it's not just about cashing in on the movie's success, but also making sure that if a sequel is made, it has the same heart as the first one. That level of caution is actually encouraging because it means any continuation would probably avoid being rushed or superficial. The original film, based on Tess Wakefield's 2017 novel, was technically a standalone story. That's part of why it felt so complete when it ended. But the book ending isn't necessarily the end for these characters on screen. Since Netflix isn't restricted by the source material anymore, a sequel would need an entirely new storyline. That could be risky because it has to feel natural and not forced, but it also creates a bunch of opportunities to dig deeper into Cassie and Luke's lives. And let's be real, the way Purple Hearts wrapped up practically begs for more. On the surface, Cassie and Luke got their happy ending, but it wasn't neat and tidy. There were sacrifices, painful revelations, and choices that left marks on both of them. The credit scene in particular made things feel both hopeful and unresolved, showing Luke coming home after serving his sentence and reuniting with Cassie. So while they ended the movie stronger than ever, their story doesn't feel finished, which is exactly why fans are asking for a sequel. To recap, the film followed Cassie, an aspiring singer struggling with her health and finances, and Luke, a Marine with a troubled past and mounting debt. Their decision to marry for military benefits seemed like a temporary fix, but things got complicated fast when Luke was injured in combat. Living together blurred the line between their arrangement and actual feelings, and by the time their secret was exposed, both of them were in serious danger of losing everything. The story hit all the classic beats of a romance, but it also had heavier themes like fraud, blackmail, and the fallout of difficult choices. The antagonist, Johnno, played a big role in the tension. Even though Luke paid off his debt, Johnno exposed their sham marriage anyway, which set up the dramatic climax. His motives were partly revenge and partly bitterness about their broken friendship, and his actions forced Luke to make a huge sacrifice. By pleading guilty and taking the fall, Luke not only saved Cassie from legal consequences, but also showed just how much he cared for her. This act of selflessness became the turning point for Cassie, who realized her feelings for him went far beyond convenience. That's why the ending mattered so much. At her concert, Cassie sings the heartfelt song I Didn't Know, And in that moment, she accepts her love for Luke. Their reunion before his sentence begins feels earned because it proves their marriage has transformed into something real. The post-credits beach scene then gives fans the closure of seeing them together again after Luke serves his time. But here's the thing, closure doesn't mean conclusion. If anything, it sets up a new chapter. A sequel could easily build on this foundation. For one, Cassie's music career was just starting to gain traction by the end of the film. A continuation could show her navigating the pressures of fame while trying to balance her personal life with Luke. That dynamic alone offers plenty of drama, especially since Luke would be adjusting to civilian life after his dishonorable discharge. Watching him try to find a new sense of purpose could provide a compelling parallel to Cassie's rise. Their relationship would also face real-world struggles beyond what we saw in the first film. Military families often deal with reintegration issues, PTSD, financial stress, and social judgment, all of which could be explored in a sequel. Cassie and Luke might love each other, but love doesn't erase those challenges. Tackling them could make the follow-up feel grounded and authentic, giving audiences a chance to see how their bond holds up when faced with everyday hardships instead of just extreme circumstances. The ending of Purple Hearts showed us that Cassie and Luke were ready to embrace their love, but it didn't promise that everything would be smooth sailing. That's where a sequel could thrive because it could test them in new ways. Maybe Cassie's career takes off and puts strain on their relationship. Maybe Luke struggles with his past choices and has to rebuild trust in his community. Or maybe new external conflicts like Johnno reappearing or someone else exposing their history could stir things up again. The potential plot lines are wide open, but they all circle back to the core theme of two people from different worlds trying to build a life together. Carson herself seems aware of how delicate that balance is. She's mentioned how protective she feels of Cassie, which suggests that if a sequel happens, it won't just recycle old drama. Instead, it might aim to show growth, resilience, and the messy, beautiful process of sustaining love. That's what made the first movie resonate. Beneath all the melodrama, it was about two people pushing each other to grow into better versions of themselves. It's also worth noting that Purple Hearts was controversial for some viewers who felt it leaned too heavily into certain political and cultural stereotypes. A sequel would have to address that carefully. By shifting the focus to Cassie and Luke's personal growth, Netflix could avoid repeating those missteps while still keeping the story impactful. In fact, a thoughtful sequel could even redeem some of the criticisms of the first film by exploring the characters with more nuance and depth. The beauty of the ending lies in its ambiguity, seeing Cassie hang the welcome home flag and give Luke back his wedding ring, now paired with a tattoo of his name, symbolized a fresh start. It confirmed that their love was real, but it didn't show what came after. That's why a sequel feels justified. It wouldn't be rewriting anything, but simply continuing from a point of promise. Right now, nothing is officially confirmed about a Purple Heart sequel, but conversations are underway. Since the film was one of Netflix's most watched releases of 2022, fan demand is strong, and Sofia Carson's commitment to protecting the story's integrity makes a follow-up more likely to be meaningful rather than just a cash grab. The first movie ended with Cassie and Luke finding love and personal growth, but it also left room for more. A sequel could explore how their relationship endures new challenges, giving Netflix every reason to consider continuing their journey. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.